Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and guys, I apologize for this video taking so long to make, but we have some big news out of Vancouver as the Vancouver Canucks have re-signed both Elias Pedersen and Quinn Hughes. So we're going to be going over those contracts and some other news here at the end of the as the preseason moves along. We have some other news on the injury front, so we'll be going over all of that in today's video. So let's start off with the two big signings in Vancouver. We're going to start off with probably the biggest one at the moment, and that is Elias Pettersson signing a 3-year contract to stick around in Vancouver. It carries $7.35 million per season, and he will be a restricted free agent. He'll have, on the expiration of this deal, it'll be 1 year left of restricted free agency, and let's say he signed a 4-year deal. This contract would have taken him straight into unrestricted free agency. Now you may be asking yourself, well, what's the big deal? Like, why does that matter? Well, it actually has a lot to do with the leverage that Elias Pettersson will have. Now, the cap hit, we were hearing this. I was talking about this over the summer, and plenty of other insiders have brought this up, that the lack of cap space made it impossible for the Canucks to get both Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson in on long-term contracts. So they were looking around the league at comparables. Excuse me. They were looking at comparables, and really a big one was Matt Barzell. He signed a 3-year, $6 or $7 million contract. I don't remember. It might have been 7 or 6. I don't remember. But you knew Pedersen was going to get more than that. And you also had to consider the fact maybe he could have got more, but because he missed a lot of last season with injury, that kind of brought down his value and kind of took away some of his leverage going into contract negotiations. So he ended up caving, but the good thing is for Elias Pettersson, he's going to bet on himself. He's going to have 3 more years of success, and he's going to have that year of restricted free agency, and then in that restricted free agent period, he could say, listen, after this season, anything after 1-year contract, you're buying unrestricted free agent years, which is going to be a lot more expensive for a Pedersen extension. And that's where he does have a bit of leverage. Now, Quinn Hughes would also sign. Now, this was a big signing because it was a little bit different than Elias Pettersson's deal. It was not a 3-year deal. It wasn't an 8-year deal either, but it was a 6-year contract. He's going to get a little bit more on the per year. It's going to be another $50,000 more than Elias Pettersson. $7.85 million per season for Quinn Hughes. Now, it is a 6-year contract. It's a nice contract, in fact, for Elias Pettersson. And you're expecting Hughes to be here long term. Now, you look at some comparables from around the league. One of the lower ends was Charlie McAvoy and Mikhail Sergachev, who got, I think it was 3 years at 4.8, 4.6, respectively, for each of those deals. And then on the lower tier of the high-end contracts, in terms of like longer term, we saw, Miro Heiskanen get an 8-year 8.3, which may have been a sort of comparable. The problem is, though, Quinn Hughes didn't have the season that guys like Miro Heiskanen and Cale Makar did. And unfortunately, it hurt his value a little bit. He gets just under $8 million per year, but it's going to be a 6-year deal. I think this is a great deal for both sides. Now, here's one thing to remember as well. The Vancouver Canucks buy 1 year of unrestricted free agency on Quinn Hughes, which means for the next 5 years, he would have been a restricted free agent, and then he would have been buying 1 year of unrestricted free agency, which that's always going to be more expensive in the marketplace because the player has all the cards. They have all the leverage after they turn, I think it's 26 or 27 and a certain amount of games played. That will be the situation for Quinn Hughes. So in his next contract, he may be able to come back and take another swing at 27, 28 years old in the prime of his NHL career, and from then, if the Canucks are a good team and he's won a couple Stanley Cups, maybe he'll take similar, maybe slightly higher than what he's getting now, maybe between 8 and 8.5 on a long-term deal. Or maybe he decides, I'm going to leave Vancouver and I'm going to go for the bag at 28, 29 years old. We could see that, both of those scenarios for Quinn Hughes. Elias Pedersen, there is some slight concern on the shorter term side of this deal because you're taking a chance on him maybe not liking what he sees in his next contract. But the problem is the Vancouver Canucks do not have the cap space. They used up all their cap space on these two guys, and unfortunately it's gotten them to the point where we're just not going to see something get done here. If, in terms of a longer term deal. Ideally, if you're the Canucks, the price of these guys never gets lower. And the problem is now you're running the risk of, guys maybe getting a lot of money, come the end of this flat cap in 3 or 4 years. And Pedersen's going to want that big contract around that time. And I think that's what Quinn Hughes is looking at too. He's kind of saying, hey, you know what? Yeah, you know what? Maybe, I'm not getting that super huge pay cut right now. But in a couple years from now, the market will look very different. And the price is going to continue to go up per season. It may have a slight, a very, very slight increase next year because of the lack of cap space we'll probably see around the league next year. But for the next 2 or 3 years, it's going to be fairly similar to what we saw this year as time goes along. Now, obviously, a new team coming into the NHL had a lot to do with that. But this is going to be interesting, guys. I'm getting excited for this Canucks team. Now, there are a couple things that I do want to mention as well. And that is, oh, God, there's a guy running around Boise State. That's besides the point. Some of you don't even probably know where that is. But the Vancouver Canucks have some questions still. Brock Boeser will be out for a week. He's expected to be back by the beginning of the regular season. He'll probably miss the rest of the preseason. And again, how much of that really matters? Maybe not. But again, the fact you're already having injury issues with Boeser, a week into the preseason, is slightly concerning. And then also the Hamonic situation, which it looks like the Canucks are kind of just holding out with Hamonic. There doesn't seem to be this rush for Hamonic to retire, and there also doesn't seem to be much of a push from the Canucks side as to forcing him to make a decision right now. And we're seeing a lot of this stuff go on around the league with vaccination status and stuff like that. Hamonic may be at a point where he just retires. That could legitimately happen depending on how things work out. But I think this is going to be an interesting story to follow. Obviously, I've loved Travis Hamonic. He was a first-round pick of the New York Islanders back in the day. A great New York Islander. He was an assistant captain for many years. And he's had a good career in Calgary and now in Vancouver, not too far from home. So it's been a nice story to see that with Hamonic. But let me know what you guys think. In the comment section down below, what do you think of the Vancouver Canucks' big signings, bringing back Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson on contracts? Again, Elias Pettersson, 3 years, $7.35 million AAV. And Quinn Hughes, a 6-year, $7.85 million AAV contract. I think both of those are really nice deals, but let me know what you guys think. And also, let me know what you guys think on the Boeser and Hamonic situations, because those are developing stories right now. Will Brock Boeser miss opening night of the Vancouver Canucks season, or will he be back in time? And what do you think is going to happen with Travis Hamonic? So let me know what you guys think of all that. I know my Canucks fans out there, you guys are very passionate and always watch these videos. My Canuck videos always do super well. So a shout out to the Canucks fans. We've had a polarizing relationship. Sometimes I'll make videos and you guys absolutely hate it. But you guys are watching the videos. And then there's the other ones that, you love them. So I really appreciate the support from my Canucks fans today. I'm giving you guys a shout out. So thank you guys very much. And the rest of the fans out there, if you're actually watching this video, I do appreciate that as well. So guys, if you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL and more videos just like this one, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and an even bigger subscribe down below. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you again next time.